Let me tell you, I was fighting for my life this week. I was weaving and bobbing when I should have been bobbing and weaving. I took a few haymakers. I keep hearing that I have a soothing radio voice. So, welcome to the smooth sounds of the round mound of Zepbound. Turn down those lights, light those candles, grab a glass of wine, and sit back and relax. Just kidding. I guess I have a voice for radio is 100 times better than having a face made for radio. Maybe I missed my calling, y'all. Anyway, I'm Charles, and I go by the round mound of Zepbound. Welcome to my 62nd week summary of my GLP-1 journey. Let me tell you, I was fighting for my life this week. I was weaving and bobbing when I should have been bobbing and weaving. I took a few haymakers, little uppercuts, some jabs. My food noise was loud. It went from a church mouse to a megaphone real fast. I was able to buckle down, so it didn't take over too much, but it was not easy. And my food noise is heavily concentrated on sugar. I tend to eat all the sugary treats in sight. That's cookies, candies, pastries. It's just not about overeating. It's also overeating the wrong things. And if that wasn't enough, my feeling of fullness was fleeting this week. I had hunger outside of my normal hunger cues. Bundle all that up, mix it in a pot, throw in a little radiation-induced constipation on top of the GLP-1 constipation. I had to break out the magnesium citrate on Thursday to get things moving again. This may be a weekly feature as I progress through my treatment. I have 5 more weeks left. I did talk to the oncologist about it, and she recommended prune juice. I may give it a try, but prune juice just, I don't know if I can do that one. I'll probably look into it a little more. Why was my food noise loud and my hunger cues messed up? Last Friday, I took a 7.5 milligram injection of Zepbound. I did that to use it up and get it out of the way, but that dose, at least on this week, might as well have been saline. It didn't seem to do anything for me. I have essentially been on compound since July with the use of branded a few times during that span, and those were 2 10 milligram doses. Often I've heard people say that compounds at times seem to be stronger than the branded meds to them. I never really gave it much thought, but the way I felt after taking that 7.5 dose of Zepbound, there may be some truth to that. I kept waiting for it to kick in, but it never really felt like it did. So shout out to Empower and Belmar compounding pharmacies for providing me some potent stuff, if that is in fact true. Now, my first attempt at 14 days in between injections went well. Outside of the constipation-induced weight gain, my satiety, my food noise level, and hunger cues were great, even on days 8 through 13. And I was really looking forward to a second round being somewhat similar, but it wasn't. So I made an executive decision. I couldn't wait another week before injecting again. So I injected a 10 milligram dose of Zepbound this morning, and I'm hoping that the higher dose will kick things back in and allow me to make it 14 days until my next dose. If not, I may have to rethink this and do another 10 milligram dose next week. But since I was feeling like this during the first 7 days after the 7.5 milligram dose, I don't see how I would have made it another 7 days until I get to my next injection. My biggest issue is food noise. It is uncontrollable for me, and if left unchecked, it will be extremely difficult for me to maintain. And while I love all the additional benefits that these meds provide, things like inflammation control, cardiovascular protection, the reduction of cancer risks, sleep apnea remission, all of that. The part that I appreciate the most is the muting or lowering of food noise. That more than anything else is why I will stay on these meds as long as possible. It is because of the food noise control that I will also get the benefit for all the other things. Now, on the good side of things, I did get back into the gym for 2 days this week. I do miss going in the morning because it's just too crowded in the evening, and it's hard to get to the stations that I want to complete my workout. I got all my cardio in, but I had to shortchange myself in the weights, particularly on the legs. Now, I don't know if I can get back into a morning routine until my treatment is over, since I must get across town to get treatment before work. I'll just make evenings work for me the best I can. You got to get through it to get to it, right? Anyway, let's get into the numbers. Last week, I weighed in at 203.5. This morning, Friday, March 21st, I tipped the scale at 21.4. That represents a 2.1 pound loss from my constipated weigh-in last week. So in summary, I am at 201.4. I am down 113.7 pounds since starting my GLP-1 journey on January 12th of 2024. And that represents a 36.1% loss from my starting weight of 315.1. I'm 6'2", so my BMI is now at 25.9, down from 40.5. The scale measured my body fat percentage this morning at 19.3%. So I'm back to where I was. My blood pressure this morning was 112/67. In total, I am down 156.6 from my highest weight of 358 in 2015, and that represents a 43.7% loss from my highest weight. Thanks for checking in with me this week. I will see you in the comments. I hope everyone has a great weekend.